Why are you revealing so much? Have you ever noticed how the more you share, the more exposed you feel? Have you ever caught yourself halfway through a conversation and wondered, why am I sharing this? It's an unsettling feeling, realizing that you've revealed a bit too much about your personal life, your thoughts, your plans. The words are already out there, and the moment you said them, something shifted. You've given away a piece of yourself that can't be taken back. Why do we do this? Why do we feel compelled to share the intimate details of our lives with people, sometimes with those who barely deserve our trust? Maybe it's because we crave connection, or maybe we're searching for validation. But here's a deeper question. Is it truly worth it? In an era where oversharing seems to be the norm, especially on social media, the concept of keeping parts of your life private feels almost revolutionary. But what if I told you that the less you share, the more power you hold? What if staying silent about your goals, your emotions, and your daily struggles isn't a form of weakness, but a profound expression of strength? This might feel counterintuitive, especially when we are conditioned to believe that transparency is everything. But here's where Stoicism offers a radical, life-changing perspective. Stoics understood that in a world constantly seeking validation, silence is an armor, a way to protect your inner peace, fortify your mental resilience, and maintain control over your life's narrative. Why should you stop telling everyone what's going on in your life? And more importantly, how can this practice lead you to a more empowered, balanced existence? In this video, we'll explore 7 things you should never tell anyone. Whether it's for your mental health, your personal growth, or your overall sense of peace, these are the things better left unsaid. And as we delve into each point, you'll discover how embracing a stoic mindset can free you from the need for validation and protect the sanctity of your inner world. Let's dive in. 1. Your future plans. Keep your dreams yours. Let's be honest. How often do we share what's happening in our lives simply because we crave validation? Maybe you've just started a new project and it feels exciting, so you rush to tell your friends, family, or colleagues. You want them to applaud your ambition, your courage, and your dreams. But the truth is, by sharing too soon, you open the door for unsolicited advice, judgment, or even envy. It's natural to want to share good news or to announce your intentions, but telling people about your future plans can be dangerous. Why? Because once you start talking, you invite other people's opinions, doubts, and criticisms into your space. Imagine 2 scenarios. In the first, you're working on a personal goal, say, getting into better shape. You start telling everyone around you, your co-workers, your family, your friends, even acquaintances. Each time you share, people offer their opinions, their tips, and even their doubts. Soon you start second-guessing yourself. Maybe it's too hard. Maybe they're right. What if you don't succeed? Now imagine the second scenario. You silently begin your journey. You wake up earlier, hit the gym, change your diet, and make progress without announcing it to the world. There's no outside noise, no judgment, no unsolicited advice, just you, your goal, and your commitment. Weeks pass, and suddenly people begin to notice your transformation. But by this point, you're already secure in your journey, and the external validation, or lack of it, doesn't affect you. Take a moment and recall a time when you shared a goal too early. Did the excitement and encouragement you hoped for turn into unsolicited advice or skepticism? I remember a personal experience where I made the mistake of telling a colleague that I was working on something significant, an idea I believed could transform the way I approached my career. It was still in its infancy, and naturally I was eager to talk about it. One evening over dinner, I casually mentioned it to a friend. What followed wasn't the supportive cheer I had hoped for, but a wave of skepticism. Their words left a mark. "That sounds risky. Are you sure that's even going to work? What if you fail?" It planted a seed of doubt that made me second-guess my decision. Something that I was once confident in became a source of anxiety, simply because I let someone else's perspective infiltrate my mental space. That night, I realized that some things are better kept close to the chest. Silence allows your dreams to grow strong, away from the noise of others' opinions. By the time they see the results, you'll have already built the foundation of success. Why let anyone get in your head before you've even taken the first step? What do you really gain from sharing everything? Is the need for validation worth the risk of allowing others to weaken your resolve? Stoicism teaches us that our goals are ours to nurture privately. When you keep your dreams to yourself, you shield them from unnecessary judgment and the insecurities others might project onto you. We are the guardians of our inner peace. The more we invite others into our thoughts and plans, the more we expose ourselves to external influences, both good and bad. The Stoics understood this deeply, which is why they advocated for a disciplined approach to communication. You retain control over your focus and motivation, unburdened by external doubts. Consider this. When you don't reveal everything about your life, you retain an element of mystery. People can't anticipate your next move, they can't predict your actions, and they certainly can't undermine what they don't know. If you're still watching, please like and comment below with a sign that you've noticed in your own relationships. Your insights might help others recognize similar patterns and foster healthier connections. 2. Your financial situation. Guard your wealth. Quietly. In a world where money often becomes a measure of worth, discussing your financial situation with others is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Whether you're doing well financially or struggling, once people know about your situation, it changes the dynamic. Either they envy you, resent you, or, worse, feel entitled to give advice or ask for help. A friend of mine learned this the hard way. He received a substantial bonus at work, and out of excitement, he mentioned it to a few friends over dinner. What followed was a barrage of hints about paying for things, splitting bills unevenly, and suddenly becoming the rich one in the group. His finances became public property in their eyes, and it made every future interaction awkward. You might not even realize how much people shift their behavior once they know about your financial standing. The subtle glances, the unspoken expectations, it's all there. Even if it's not outright requests for money, there's an undercurrent of expectation that builds. People who you thought were indifferent to your wealth start making comments that at first seem harmless, but they quickly add up. It's not about being paranoid, but about being cautious. Your financial situation is yours alone to manage, and the less others know, the less you'll have to navigate these uncomfortable waters. Think about it. When you share your financial wins or struggles, you open the door to judgments and assumptions. It's not just about envy. Sometimes people may feel superior if they think they're doing better than you, or pity if they assume you're struggling. Neither is helpful. Keeping your financial cards close to your chest allows you to move through life with fewer complications. You're not burdened by others' opinions or expectations, and you maintain control over your narrative, which is essential when it comes to your personal autonomy. The Stoics believed in modesty and self-control, especially when it came to wealth. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's most powerful Stoics, lived with humility despite his immense power and resources. Why? Because he understood that true wealth doesn't lie in material possessions, but in a calm, steady mind. When you disclose your financial status, you invite comparisons, judgment, and even exploitation. Your finances are your business. Whether you're experiencing prosperity or difficulty, it's better to keep it to yourself. Let your actions speak louder than your words, and trust that your silence protects both your dignity and your autonomy. 3. Your personal struggles. Not everyone deserves to know life is hard. We all face personal battles: anxiety, heartbreak, disappointment, self-doubt. And while it may seem comforting to share these struggles with others, doing so can sometimes make things worse. You risk being misunderstood, judged, or dismissed. Even worse, some people might take pleasure in your pain, using your vulnerability against you later. I learned this lesson when I confided in someone I thought was a close friend. I was going through a rough patch at work, feeling overworked and undervalued. I shared my frustrations, expecting sympathy or at least understanding. Instead, that person later used my words to undermine me in a group setting, casually bringing up my inability to handle pressure as a joke. It stung. When you open up about your personal struggles, you hand someone a piece of your vulnerability, a piece that not everyone is equipped or willing to handle with care. It might feel like relief in the moment, but the truth is, not everyone who listens has your best interests at heart. People's intentions can be unpredictable. Some might nod along, seemingly supportive, only to later twist your words or use your hardships as a way to elevate themselves. It's a harsh reality, but one worth considering before you let someone into your emotional world. Take the Stoic philosopher Seneca as an example. While known for his wisdom and restraint, Seneca found himself entangled in the dangerous politics of Nero's court. In his attempt to guide the young emperor, Seneca often shared his concerns and frustrations with those close to him. Unfortunately, some of these confidants were not trustworthy, and his words were used against him in the ruthless political environment. His attempts to influence Nero quietly backfired, leading to accusations of conspiracy and ultimately contributing to his demise. Seneca's mistake was in underestimating how those around him could twist his intentions, a costly reminder that not everyone deserves to know your inner struggles. Even the wisest can fall prey to betrayal when they let their guard down. For a Stoic, mastering your emotions and hardships internally is key, and confiding in the wrong people can leave you exposed to manipulations and judgments. Seneca's experience serves as a powerful lesson. Guard your struggles carefully and rely on your own inner strength, not the uncertain loyalty of others. And even those who mean well may not understand the depth of what you're going through. They may offer shallow solutions or dismiss your pain entirely, leaving you feeling more isolated than before. Your personal struggles are part of your internal growth, and not everyone deserves access to that intimate process. Sharing selectively with those you trust deeply gives you a better chance of receiving genuine support rather than empty words or judgment. The less you reveal to others, the more control you maintain over your journey of healing and self-discovery. Stoicism teaches us that we must be selective about whom we allow into our emotional world. Our struggles are deeply personal, and not everyone deserves to carry the weight of that knowledge. There's power in maintaining a composed, steady exterior. It gives you time to process your emotions without outside interference, allowing you to confront your issues with clarity. You don't have to broadcast your pain for it to be valid. Some journeys are meant to be walked alone, and in silence you can find the strength to overcome them. 4. Your relationship problems. Protect your love life. Not every silence is about withdrawal or isolation. Sometimes silence can be used strategically, especially when it comes to relationships. When you're upset with your partner, it's tempting to run to friends or family to vent. But every time you share intimate details about your relationship, you weaken the bond between you and your partner. It invites unnecessary opinions and judgments that can cloud your perspective. I had a friend who constantly confided in her family about her relationship issues. What she didn't realize was that each time she aired her grievances, her family formed an increasingly negative view of her partner. Even when the couple worked through their problems, her family's judgment remained. The more you involve others in your relationship, the harder it becomes to repair the bond between you and your partner. By keeping certain details of your relationship private, you also build a sense of emotional maturity and self-reliance. When you resist the urge to vent every frustration, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect before reacting. This allows you to approach conflicts with a clearer mind, rather than being swayed by the opinions of others. Your partner, in turn, feels more trusted and respected, knowing that your relationship is a safe space for both of you to navigate challenges together without outside interference. Moreover, maintaining this level of discretion fosters deeper intimacy. When problems are resolved between the two of you without the influence of third parties, it strengthens the bond of understanding and communication. It's in these quiet, private moments that real growth happens. Instead of seeking validation from others, you're prioritizing the connection you've built, allowing it to evolve naturally, based on the mutual respect and trust that only the two of you truly understand. Stoicism teaches us to manage our emotional responses and not act on impulse. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your relationship is to keep it private. Disagreements are natural, but they are best resolved between you and your partner, not under the scrutiny of outsiders. By maintaining privacy, you protect the sanctity of your relationship, giving it the space to heal, grow, and strengthen without interference. 5. Your acts of kindness. Give without announcing. There's a reason why the Stoics valued humility. They understood that true virtue lies in doing good without expecting recognition. In today's world, many people feel the need to broadcast their acts of kindness, whether it's donating to charity, helping a friend, or volunteering. But real kindness doesn't require applause. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "The best way to give is in secret." Why? Because when you give quietly, you're doing it for the right reasons, for the benefit of others, not for the sake of boosting your own ego. When you seek praise for your generosity, you diminish the value of the act itself. It becomes less about the person in need and more about how you're perceived. A friend of mine often shared his charitable efforts on social media, thinking it would inspire others to give. But over time, I noticed that his posts became less about the cause and more about seeking validation. What started as a genuine effort to help others turned into a performative act for likes and comments. He didn't realize it at first, but the constant need for approval began to affect the very essence of his giving. It became more about what others thought of him than the actual difference he was making. Over time, his motivation shifted. Without even knowing it, he was no longer driven by compassion, but by the reward of public acknowledgement. And the danger here is subtle but profound. When we tie our self-worth to how others view our good deeds, we lose sight of what matters most: the person we are helping. The act of giving in its purest form should be an intimate moment between you and the recipient, not a stage performance for an audience. In seeking validation, you risk reducing acts of kindness to mere transactions, where the praise you receive becomes the currency and the true spirit of generosity is lost. When was the last time you gave something without telling a soul? No posts, no texts, just a quiet gesture that only you and the person it helped would ever know about. It feels different, doesn't it? There's a certain satisfaction in giving without an audience, because in that moment, you're reminded that kindness doesn't need witnesses. It's not about who's watching, it's about staying true to your values. Giving in silence challenges you to ask, am I doing this for them, or am I doing this for me? Kindness should be selfless. It should be a quiet force, one that doesn't need to be paraded in front of others. When you give without announcing it, you preserve the purity of the act and maintain your integrity. 6. Your deepest fears. Vulnerability should be earned. We all have fears, whether it's the fear of failure, rejection, or loss. These fears shape how we navigate the world, and sharing them can make us feel exposed. When you tell someone your deepest fears, you hand them a tool that they can use to hurt you, and unfortunately, not everyone is trustworthy. Years ago, I shared a personal fear with someone I considered a close friend. I was struggling with a project and confessed that I was terrified of failing. I didn't realize it at the time, but this person used my vulnerability to manipulate situations later, subtly undermining my confidence during important moments. And that's the real risk, isn't it? When you open up about your fears, you're placing a tremendous amount of trust in someone. You might think that sharing will bring you closer, or that they'll offer the support you need in moments of doubt. But the truth is, you can't always predict how people will use that information. Sometimes the very person you trust most is the one who quietly holds your insecurities against you, waiting for the right moment to use them. And when they do, it's not just your confidence that takes a hit, it's your sense of safety in the relationship itself. You begin questioning every word, every action, wondering if it's driven by genuine care or something more self-serving. This is why it's so important to protect your vulnerabilities. Ask yourself, do they deserve to know your fears? Have they proven themselves over time, or are you opening up too quickly? Being guarded doesn't mean you're shutting people out. It means you're being wise about who you let in. Your fears aren't weaknesses unless you let them be used against you, and only those who've earned your deepest trust should have the privilege of knowing them. Because once you give that away too freely, it's almost impossible to take it back. Stoicism teaches us to build emotional resilience by keeping our fears in check. Sharing your fears should be reserved for those who have earned your trust, not for casual conversations. Your vulnerability is precious. It's not something you should hand over to just anyone. By keeping your fears to yourself, you remain in control of how they influence your actions. You don't allow others to exploit your weaknesses, and instead, you cultivate inner strength. 7. Your successes. Let your results speak for themselves. In a world where everyone is eager to share their accomplishments, it might seem strange to suggest that you keep your successes to yourself. But here's the truth. Telling people about your achievements before they're fully realized can backfire. Not only does it invite envy and competition, but it also creates pressure to live up to the expectations you've set. I once made the mistake of announcing a career milestone before it was finalized. It felt good to bask in the congratulations and excitement, but when the deal fell through, I was left with a deep sense of embarrassment. Worse, I had to explain to everyone what had happened, which made the failure feel even more crushing. The Stoics believed that true success doesn't lie in external recognition, but in inner mastery. When you let your results speak for themselves, you maintain humility and focus. You don't need the validation of others to confirm your achievements, because you've already proven your worth to the one person who matters most, you. Think of it like planting a seed. If you dig it up too soon to show everyone how much it's grown, you risk stunting its growth, or worse, killing it before it even has a chance to bloom. Success is like that seed. It needs time, patience, and silence to reach its full potential. By keeping your successes private until the right moment, You protect your progress from the weight of others' expectations. You retain the freedom to work quietly and diligently, undistracted by the pressures of external praise. And when the time comes to reveal your success, it will speak for itself. Conclusion: the power of silence. The Stoic practice of withholding unnecessary information is not about hiding who you are or pretending to be something you're not. It's about preserving your peace, protecting your inner world, and maintaining control over your life. By learning when to speak and when to remain silent, you empower yourself to live authentically without relying on the opinions, judgments, or validations of others. Imagine walking through life with the quiet confidence that you owe no one an explanation, that your thoughts, dreams, and struggles belong to you and no one else. That is the power of Stoicism, of choosing discretion over disclosure, silence over unnecessary speech. Think back to your own experiences. How many times have you regretted sharing something personal? How often have you felt burdened by the opinions of others after you let them into your private world? What if, instead, you chose to guard your inner life with the same care and reverence you would give to something priceless? The things you hold close to your heart, the dreams, the struggles, the fears, are sacred. Not everyone deserves to have access to them. By keeping them private, you keep them powerful. In doing so, you live more intentionally, more freely, and with greater peace. So, the next time you feel the urge to reveal too much, ask yourself, why do I want to share this? What do I stand to gain, and what could I lose? Is this something I need to say? If not, let silence be your answer. In a world that constantly demands disclosure, learn the art of keeping certain things just for you. Because the less they know, the more you grow.